Welcome back to Horror Lore, and today we're going to be going to Toronto, Ontario to hang out with a young man named Duncan Sinclair. The young man from Toronto who murdered his mom. Yes, murdered his mother. I can't be any more straightforward than that. He killed his mom. The underground path system in Toronto. For those who are unfamiliar, it is basically an underground mall. You've got different shops, bistros, it's just an underground mall. And in this underground mall was a small sandwich shop where Duncan Sinclair's mother worked. On April 10th, 2019, at a little after 7 p.m., Rae Cara Carrington, that is Duncan Sinclair's mother, she was working an afternoon shift at the sandwich shop in Toronto's underground path system. Now, outside of the sandwich shop where Rae was working, her son Duncan was lingering around, pacing back and forth for about a good 15 minutes. It almost looked like he was uncertain. He was there to do something, but he had the jitters. So after 15 minutes, he finally entered the sandwich shop. Now, Duncan Sinclair, age 19, as soon as he entered the sandwich shop where his mother was working, he right away went up to the food preparation area and confronted her. They exchanged a few words. Right away, boom, Duncan pulls out a large knife and starts attacking his mother, Rae Cara Carrington, in the food preparation area of the restaurant that she worked at in the pass system. Obviously, 911 was called, and by the time first responders arrived, unfortunately, Rae Cara Carrington was pronounced deceased at the scene in the kitchen food preparation area of the sandwich shop in this underground mall in downtown Toronto. Immediately after the murder, Duncan left the underground system. Clearly. He turned off his cell phone. He then took public transit from Toronto, Ontario, all the way to Midland, Ontario, thinking that was going to help him escape the long schlong of the law. So 2 days after the murder, in Midland, Ontario, on April 12, 2019, Duncan went to the YMCA Job Resource Center under the fake alias Daniel Williams. He used that alias to gain access to their computers. And while he was on the computers, he was researching murder investigations and different things of that nature. Well, as mentioned, his murder was captured on CCTV, police had already identified him, and they were releasing his picture to the public. So, an employee who worked at the YMCA Employment Resource Center recognized good old Duncan, or should I say Daniel, and contacted the police, and the police immediately showed up to the YMCA in Midland, Ontario, and slapped the good old bracelets on our friend Duncan. The Toronto police, after slapping the big boy bracelets on Duncan Sinclair, they charged him with a single count of first-degree murder. And immediately, Duncan Sinclair pleaded not guilty. Right away. I didn't do it. Not guilty. On Friday, November 12th, 2021, Duncan Sinclair's trial was right wrapping up, and he was found guilty of first-degree murder. And that comes with an automatic life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. And less than a couple weeks after that, on November 22nd, 2021, Duncan Sinclair arrived for his sentencing hearing where he was officially handed down the life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. The question, though, still remains, why did Duncan kill his mother? And that's just as dysfunctional as the murder itself. It's unbelievable. You can't make this kind of stuff up. Duncan Sinclair and his 8 siblings grew up in an extremely abusive and neglectful environment. Their father was a piece of work. Like, he didn't work, he stayed at home, he forced his wife to work her ass off, forced the kids to work their ass off, the children that were old enough, hand over their paychecks. Not only that, they were in a 1-bedroom apartment. There's 10 of them. Illegal. So what would he do? He didn't want anyone to know. So he would only allow the kids to shower once every 2 weeks to once a month. That way it wouldn't draw attention due to the water bill. He pinned and stapled up blankets and curtains on every window in the apartment so no one could see in or no one could see out. He claimed he homeschooled his children, which was a complete load of crap. The kids would just lounge around all day in their own filth, wanting to eat, doing whatever they could do to entertain themselves. And if anybody got any suspicion of what was going on, they uprooted and moved to another apartment. And this was Duncan's upbringing. However, Duncan, he didn't see it as abuse. He idolized his father. There were many reports saying that Duncan Sinclair was like his father's minion. He believed everything his father said. The way his father was treating people, especially women and children, he thought was correct. And finally, the cat came out of the bag about their entire living situation. The youngest children were taken and put into foster care. Police got involved, and Duncan's father was pissed because now everyone knew about his dirty, neglectful, nasty lifestyle, and people were speaking out against him. And not only did that piss him off, it also pissed off his son Duncan Sinclair. During the investigation with Children's Aid and the police and foster care, other siblings, as well as Rae Cara Carrington, they made statements against Duncan's father, which infuriated his father as well as infuriated Duncan, and they both saw it as a betrayal on their family, the fact that they were cooperating with the authorities against them. That's why Duncan killed his mom. Revenge for betraying their family. And this was so premeditated that Duncan, he knew the name of the sandwich shop that his mother worked for. He just didn't know what location. So he flipped through the phone book and called every single location until he found the one that his mother was working at that night. And that one just happened to be at the Toronto Path system. So once he got confirmation of which location she was at, he went on down there and whacked his mom. Savage. So that's the story of Rae Cara Carrington, a 51-year-old mother who was brutally murdered by her piece of shit 19-year-old son, Duncan Sinclair. Duncan Sinclair is now sitting, rotting away in prison for at least the next 25 years. And as for Duncan's father, no idea. I don't care. I don't care to know that piece of shit's name, what he's doing, what's happened to him. I just hope whatever happens to him, it's painful, and he's getting the karma that he fucking deserves. And that wraps up another episode of Horror Lore. Once again, you know how big of a thank you I owe you, so I thank you so much for tuning in and watching another episode, watching and listening to me. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. If you'd like to further support the channel, ways to do so are posted below this video in the description. Thank you, and I can't wait to come back again and tell you another tale, because you never know. The next one I'll be telling could be about you or somebody you know. Until next time, thanks again, everyone.